right, guys. Good morning. It is April 2nd, so day 2 without dairy, and I'm finally starting to kind of feel better. A couple of things I've noticed so far. First of all, some of you may have seen my post about the 31st. I decided to go a little dirty, and I had a couple of keto buns. Air quotes around keto, because clearly not. I woke up super inflamed and puffy and like miserable yesterday morning on the 1st. So yesterday I kept it super simple. I had some pepperoni, some eggs and butter for a couple of different meals, and that's it. Just tried to keep it really clean. But also yesterday was the first day that I stopped taking my Flonase, which is my allergy medicine of choice. It's what I've been using for years during allergy season, because I've always found that it makes me feel the best. However, saw a video a couple of days ago from Dr. Westman. Now it was like, it was something totally unrelated. He was talking about calories. But in that video, he mentioned, he was like, anytime I have any of my keto patients that come into the clinic and they're doing everything right but not seeing results, I usually ask them if they are using Flonase. And then he goes on to talk about, because it's like an intranasal steroid, that some people, it really affects their blood glucose and their ability to produce ketones. So I'm sitting there like, well, damn, I wonder if this is why I've had such trouble getting my glucose under control the last couple of months. And I say under control, I mean I like it in the anywhere from mid 70s up to 90, and it's been running in the mid 90s, and I haven't been able to get it down. And so I was thinking dairy, which might absolutely still be part of it, but I think that Flonase was a big part of it, because today it started dropping, and I woke up this morning with considerably higher blood ketone levels than I have been having. So that's good. I've switched instead to, I think, Allegra little tablets for my allergies for now. So we'll see if that makes a difference. So that's the second part. So today is day 2 without dairy and day 2 without Flonase. And we will see. But right now I'm at the grocery store. It is early in the morning. Not early, it's like 10. And I'm going to pick up a couple of things to do a meal prep today for this upcoming week. So again, my plan for this month is dairy-free, obviously with the exception of butter, but dairy-free, nice, clean, good ingredients, whole foods for the month. So I'm going to shop a little bit, pick up a couple of things, and see what all I can put together for today. So that's what this video is going to be, is my meal prep for this upcoming week of dairy-free, ultra low carb, somewhere hovering between the keto and carnivore worlds. So that's what we're doing today. So I will share with you what I pick up, and then we'll get started on cooking. All right, see you in a bit. All right, first up is my little grocery haul. I didn't pick up a ton of stuff, but just enough to kind of supplement for my meal prep. I got this family pack of boneless, skinless chicken breasts for $2.29 a pound. So that was only about $10. I also got this pack of boneless country style pork ribs that was marked down. So I think I paid $4.50 a pound for this, when it all, $3.50 a pound for this when it all came down to it. And that's kind of one of our favorite things to throw on the grill, or you can chop it up and put it in the air fryer. The Land O'Lakes Extra Creamy was buy one, get one free. It's normally $7.99, so that made it $4 for each box. And this is my favorite, so if ever it is on sale, I usually pick some up. But it's, typically I'll just buy Costco butter, but this one is absolutely delicious. So if you come across it and it's on sale, it is yummy. Also picked up some half and half for Richard, because he does put that in with his espresso. Regular large eggs were on an evic special, so those were $1.97 each. I picked up a bunch of hot house cucumbers. This is the time of year where cucumbers are my favorite vessel for anything. So I picked those up. One single good-sized lime, a nice big bunch of fresh cilantro. I'm kind of figuring the lime and cilantro are going to go with a meal. I also picked up some tzatziki for Richard. I love tzatziki, but being dairy-free this month, I can't use it. But he loves it with like salads or with grilled chicken and that kind of thing. And with this one, the carbs are low. As with any of the prepared like sauces, the ingredients aren't the absolute best, but it is pretty good being primarily Greek yogurt. I also picked up another bag of espresso because we were basically out of that this morning. Richard's the one that drinks that for the most part. And picked up 2 of these big old cans of green beans. Now, I've had people in the past kind of harass me about the carb count on green beans, but guys, it's 3 total carbs for a serving, and there's fiber, and they're just a vegetable, and I'm cool with them. I also picked up the cilantro lime flavor of rotel for a chicken recipe. So that actually is going to go with this chicken tinga, which I don't know if I'm saying that right. But you do this in the crock pot. So this is going to be later in the meal prep that you'll see. And I've done it once before, but I never filmed it. But if ever you see this brand of seasoning packets, they're all really pretty good as far as the ingredients. Like, it's usually just spices with no other weird fillers or anything. And they have a lot of different varieties of like different like carne asada and chicken and all sorts of different things. So they're inexpensive and tasty. I also picked this up. These are shelf stable. It's a blend of riced broccoli and cauliflower, and they were on clearance, which, can be not promising. Maybe that means that they're not great, but I'm going to give them a shot. But they're the kind where you can just microwave them in the packet, or you can do them in a skillet. Total carbs per pouch, it's 6 carbs, 5 grams of fiber, and it is just broccoli and cauliflower. So that's it. So I'm pretty cool with that. And I figured that we might be able to do some sort of like cilantro lime rice or something to go with one of those chicken dishes, for one of the dinners or meal preps this week. So I picked up 4. There were a whole bunch there marked down. Normally they're like $4.79. I never would have spent that, but $2, I'm down. Okay, so since I have that big old pack of chicken, I'm doing some stuff. So I'm going to make some chili lime chicken chunks, kind of. So I'm just using some chili lime seasoning and garlic powder. The chili lime seasoning has salt. And basically I'm just taking 2 of those chicken breasts, and I do always kind of cut the little tendon out of these guys. So you'll see me do that anytime that I'm cutting out chicken breast, that little corner. I just hate hitting that when I'm chewing on them. But basically with this, I'm just taking these 2 chicken breasts and I'm going to cube them up into, bite-sized cubes. And once I do that, I'm going to get these guys in a bowl so that I can toss them with the seasoning in order to get them nice and well coated. So again, just straight kind of 2 or 3 slices down, and then a few slices in the other direction to get these sort of cubes of chicken. There was another little tendon in that piece that was annoying me, but is what it is. But throw them all into the bowl. And guys, using nitrile gloves when you're handling any of this raw meat is amazing, especially if you're doing meal prep, because it keeps you from touching everything and from having to wash your hands 1,000 times. But yeah, just tons and tons of garlic powder, and then I'm adding in that chili lime seasoning. And this stuff I picked up by accident, but it's actually really tasty. But plenty of that in there. And then I'm just going to go in with my gloved hand and mix until everything is nice and evenly coated. Just like this. Looks pretty, yeah? Yep. Okay, we've got dual pans going now. So first in this pot on the left, I'm going to add a little bit of my bacon grease, which I keep in a coffee can in the cabinet. And I'm going to do close to about 2 tablespoons. And this is for those 2 big cans of green beans. And I know y'all have seen me do these in the past. It's just such a simple side to go ahead and prep ahead of time and just have in the fridge. So each night I can heat some up with dinner if that's what we want to do. But of the 2 large cans, I have one that is drained and one that I kept the liquid in. And once that bacon grease gets kind of melted down,
I'm going to add both cans of the green beans in there. And bacon grease is just one of those things that adds a little bit of extra flavor, makes them super tasty. If you have bacon pieces or something, that's always really good to add in there too. These are cheap, so sometimes you find stems. Oh well, not a big thing. It's still natural. So with that, I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic powder. When it was all said and done, I did add a little bit of salt too, but that part did not make it into the video. But a little bit of garlic powder in there, and I'm going to give it a stir to kind of distribute the garlic powder and the bacon grease in there while they cook. And I basically just cook these on medium until they start to bubble, and then I turn them off and let them cool, and then they soak in all of that flavor. Meanwhile, I've got my nonstick copper skillet on the other side, and it is on medium-high. And I'm going to add, it's about 1.5 tablespoons of butter, and this is just regular salted butter. And get that completely melted and starting to get, a little foamy before I add in that chili lime chicken. And all I'm doing with this is just browning it up so that I can use it later in the week for whatever I decide to. We can put it on salads, we can have it on some cauliflower rice, or just have it on the side with some green beans, whatever we feel like doing. I don't usually do so many chicken heavy meals, but with the price that the chicken was this week, it just really turned out to be a great choice. So here we are, the green beans have all come up to a nice temperature. I'm going to turn those off and kind of leave them and let them hang out until they cool so that I can pack them up. And with this chicken, I've just kind of stirred it around until everything is completely cooked. So you can see, I'm going to show you guys kind of what it looks like now that it's all cooked through and has all of that seasoning on it. But it's just a really simple, easy way to prepare a little bit of chicken to have in the fridge.
I just got a present. So Chainsaw's bestie has a bunch of chickens. And so since Chainsaw was going to hang out with her today and go shopping, she brought me 2 dozen of her little fresh backyard eggs. And I'm super excited. And you can even see, they're still dirty. So I don't think they usually wash the bloom off. They just kind of leave them. So I'm super excited. Have extra 2 dozen eggs for the week. Pays to know people. Pays to know good people. That's for sure. I'm excited.
Okay, so now I'm going to do this crockpot chicken. I'm using this chicken tinga seasoning. And I know I showed you the back in my grocery haul, but super clean ingredients, 1 carb per serving, but it's really just all seasonings and a little bit of, I think, tomato powder in there. So I'm just going to take my Instant Pot, and I'm going to throw 4 chicken breasts, and these are untrimmed. I'm just throwing them in with reckless abandon. And again, using the nitrile gloves to make life easier. And then what this the packet calls for is half of a medium onion. And so I had a pretty small one, but I still did about half of it, and I just sliced it thin to throw in there. 1 can of, it calls for just petite diced tomatoes, but I like using this rotel. And you can use any variety of rotel, but I use the lime and cilantro. I'm just on a big cilantro kick right now, I guess. And then you just add in the packet of the seasoning. And this packet is supposed to do up to 2 pounds of chicken. So that's why I did so much chicken breast in here. And then I just kind of am using my little wooden spatula just to kind of mix those things on top, just so that it's not powder on top of the wet ingredients. It does kind of tell you to do it that way and not worry about using a spatula, but since I'm using my Instant Pot and not a slow cooker, I figured that would be a good way to go ahead and ensure that it cooks properly in there. So here it is in my Instant Pot, and we're just going to put the lid on and put this on sealing. And I'm using my poultry button. And I'm going to do this for 35 minutes on high pressure. And then I'm going to keep my little keep warm light on so that it'll hang out after it's done cooking. So then I have 2 more chicken breasts that I'm going to do something with at this point for us to do. So I've got a sharp knife to cut that tendon and my tenderizing hammer. Again, we're going back to the nitrile gloves, guys. This is like the best tip ever. If you have them or can buy them, do it. So I'm taking these, I'm going to cut the little tendon area out of these chicken breasts before I pound them thin. Now sometimes I'll take these and I'll kind of butterfly them a little bit to get them thin. But this is just, I wanted them to be a little bit bigger this time around. So basically once I get this little tendon area cut off, I'm going to use the wax paper as a barrier so that we can use the tenderizing mallet on them to get them nice and thin. And I still, probably somewhere between like 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch thick. They weren't super thin. But just use some wax paper. You can use parchment or saran wrap or a Ziploc bag, whatever works. And then just kind of like get it pounded out as much as you can on each side just to get it a little bit thinner. And it makes a pretty big difference. This is what you would do if you were doing like cutlets or something for like little fried chicken breasts for chicken parmesan or something like that. But I'm just doing this for some seasoned chicken to go in the cast iron. And it makes life easier to have that wax paper over the top so that it's kind of not spattering everywhere over the course of or all over your kitchen. It's a nice little barrier. And of course I did speed the video up a little bit. This does take a few minutes to get them to the thickness that you want them, but I think it's a step that's worth it, in my humble opinion. But see, you can see it's almost doubled in the width there. And so basically we just do that with both of the chicken breasts. And then I'm going to season them with a little bit of kosher salt. And then I'm going to use some of the Cavender's Greek seasoning. And you can do any variety of seasonings, any combination of seasonings that you like. But this is one of our favorites. So I'm going to use some Cavender's. And then I'm going to add just regular black pepper. But don't worry, that's not all. All right. Then we're going to use some thyme. If you have fresh herbs, I'm sure that would be awesome. I don't, because that kind of stuff goes bad in my fridge. Then I'm going to use a little bit of oregano. And of course, some garlic powder, because we put this on everything all the time. And it's always kind of a heftier seasoning. And garlic powder does have some small amounts of carbs. So if you're super sensitive to keeping your carbs low, you may want to also measure and count that. But I typically do not. But here we have our nice seasoned up chicken. And I've got my cast iron. The whole time I was seasoning these, it was preheating on that side. You want to slowly preheat it. So I had it kind of on medium low at first and then bumped it up to medium, and now it's on medium high. And I'm adding about a tablespoon of butter and letting that melt down so that we can do the chicken. Once I get everything coated, these two will fit side by side in here. And I'm putting them in seasoned side down. That one, I kind of beat the bejesus out of it, so it kind of it started to fall apart. So, but then I just go through and I'm seasoning both sides the same way that I did the first side. Just to make sure that I have all of those same flavors and everything happening on both sides. And then we're just going to leave it. Let them cook thoroughly on that side before we give them their little flip. And so here we go, doing a nice flip. They're nice and browned and beautiful on that side. Everything looks gorgeous. And so I kind of check the tenderness to see if they're done. and they are all finished up, and they are beautiful. So basically I let them cool so that I can slice them up for later. We can have them on salads and that kind of thing for lunches over the course of the week. Now we're prepping burgers. Again, the gloves. And you can use latex gloves or whatever it is that works for you. We just always have nitrile gloves around the house I use them for my hair dye, and we use them for painting and whatever we need. So I'm using a 3-pound package of the regular 73% ground beef. And then I also have, this is like 13 ounces of 93% lean ground beef. And so we're combining those two packages to make burger patties. Now, typically I will use my food scale to measure out my patties for this. So it just makes life easier to make them all kind of consistent. So it's kind of 1 to 3 parts. It's my sign language for lean to fatty. If we only have ground chuck, I don't do any of this mixing. But for the 73, we like to add a little bit of lean to it also, just to kind of have a little bit better mixture as far as the texture and everything whenever we go to cook them. And it's funny, like I almost reached for my regular pocket knife to open this, and then I had to stop myself and remember that yeah, that's not what you use this for. So I'm just going to take out the 3-pound regular ground beef, and you can see by the difference in the color between that and the 93% lean, which one, of course, is leaner and the fat content. And then you just get in there with your hands, guys, and just mix. And I do the same thing, like if I'm making meatballs or something where I'm adding pork in, I just sit there, you use your hands, get in there, get everything mixed up really, really well. And it usually, you want to do that until it's a consistent color so that each of them is mixed properly in together. So now I'm going to take my food scale, and I have it set to ounces. And we typically do these around 3rd-pound burgers. So I'm looking for around 5.5 ounces per burger patty. And the way that I do this, I'll measure it out, and then I just kind of ball it up, kind of loosely ball it up, and throw it back into the bowl, and then grab my next chunk of ground beef to do the same. And I just do this until the whole thing is completely done and they're all sorted out. So for the amount of ground beef that we have today, we're hoping that it'll be enough for dinner tonight, and then also to have prepped for the week. But we have a bunch of heathens in this house, so who knows how much we'll end up with. But we ended up with 11 to cook. And so what we do, if we're doing these on the Blackstone griddle, we do them just like that. But we're doing these on the regular charcoal grill. So we take them and take a piece of parchment, and I fold it in half, and we use our Blackstone smasher that we would normally use on the griddle to kind of form these, like using as a burger press. So basically just put the burger ball in between the 2 pieces of parchment, and then use the press. I'm using all of my muscles and might, and then it comes out into this perfect thin patty, and it'll draw up while it cooks, but then it's like the perfect size when it comes to burgers on the grill, as opposed to doing them on the griddle. And anyone that has a Blackstone or one of the other flat top griddles knows that this time of year they take a little effort to get cleaned up and re-seasoned if you need to from all of the weather over the winter time, and that's what we've got to do. Otherwise we would totally be making smash burgers, because that is our favorite way to do burgers. So I just go through with this, and I do all 11 in the same way, and then we have them stacked up over here on the tray and staged for when it's time to throw them on the grill. So like I mentioned, we got 11 total, and I know these patties look massive, but they will draw up, and they're going to be perfect.
How you doing? Internet people.
Oh, goodness. It's okay that you're dirty. Your face is dirty. Like everything's
Working in the yard all day long.
all kinds of yard work all day.
Yep.
And now you're getting ready to
Yard
grill.
work wasn't bad. Pressure washing.
Yes.
That makes you nasty.
Pressure washed the whole big fence. That was not fun. And now
But
you feel
ADD?
old. Neurospicy.
Neurospicy.
All right, so now you've got the grill getting ready to get lit. What are you putting on the grill?
Burgers, pork ribs.
What in
Ow!
the...
My foot.
Don't swear!
It was my foot.
Okay, so burgers and country style pork ribs, yeah?
Yeah. Is
Okay.
that it?
I think that's it, yeah. And somebody... Here, let's do a thing. Hold on. Yeah, this hair is a hot mess. Your hair looks great.
I keep it long in the summertime.
Okay, so
I put it in
someone
buns.
is having the Arnold Keto hamburger buns with
I'll
his
report
burgers
back.
tonight. I actually am going to test his sugar.
Yeah. You should test it before and after.
I'm gonna, so we can see what happens, because that's going to be a tell for
On
you.
my
For me, obviously. It's mocking Jason Whitrock, which is a
I'm
cardinal
not
sin.
mocking him. I'm just saying.
Today I'm going to test. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. He's going to have burgers with the keto
When you know, you know.
buns. I am going to have burgers without cheese because it's dairy-free April for me, with cucumber tomato salad on the side.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe a country-style pork rib on the side for a snack.
I think you
Pork
should.
can be a side.
A meat is a side.
Meat is also a
Yes,
side.
meat, yeah. I
Okay,
think
so that's what we're doing. We'll see you at dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. What you making? What you making?
Oh.
All right, so boneless country style pork ribs.
Yep.
And in that we have Italian dressing and some liquid smoke.
Yep.
Our buddy Tommy Enriquez from a million years ago used to
So good.
make these for us on the grill, but he used a gas grill, hence the liquid smoke, but we're still adding it out of habit. And you're just gonna go bloop, because we don't have any Ziploc bags. And then these are gonna go on the grill with the burgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be delightful. I want to smell. Okay, last but not least, this is that chicken tinga out of my Instant Pot. As you can see, it gets super tender, so I'm just using my tongs to go through and kind of shred it a little bit. And it smells so good. It's just like very simple, like stewed, pulled chicken. It's got tons of flavor from the tomatoes, some chilies. Just super yum. We're going to use this for some burrito bowls or rice bowls or something like that with the cauliflower rice. So once I got it all pulled and separated, this is how it looks. And it smells amazing. Meal prep complete. Say bye, Mosey.